Yeah, so when it comes to financial approach, I don't know what I'm doing. Money comes in, money goes out. I don't know where my money is. I don't know what it's doing. The only thing I've ever done with it is I threw it into crypto and then lost a shitload of it.
Escort and Boogie2988 was one of my clients from LA, and I get a message on this website, you can probably guess which one, from this guy who looked a lot like Boogie.
I took women on vacations, and I took them out to fancy dinners, and I took them to like Disneyland and
He bought me dinner, he got me a purse that we were talking about over messages, and he got me a couple gift cards, and he spent well over $5,000 on just that night. Sleeping with Boogie is one of the reasons I quit sex work.
Last night I had the unfortunate pleasure of watching a 55-minute and 16-second documentary on a YouTuber that just about everybody knows. And I don't really want to do, a lot of drama anymore on this channel other than dunking on Ethan Klein. And, full disclosure, Boogie and I have had, we've spoke over the years. We've been on good terms. We've been on bad terms. In fact, after I watched the documentary, I gave him a call last night. And, because it seems like he's in a really, really bad spot. And it made me want to kind of react to it. It's normally I wouldn't, there's a lot of people that really hate him for a lot of different reasons. Even him and I have had issues before. But normally I wouldn't cover a video like, dunking on him or anybody really, but Ethan Klein probably. But he's promoting it. He wants people to see it. So, I wanted to kind of talk about a couple things that I saw in it, try to add some context. By the way, very, very good job, Mike Clum, C-L-U-M. He's the one that put out this documentary. I highly recommend watching it. It's very well put together. It's very interesting. And it kind of catalogs Boogie's life and, where he's at now. And it's a lot of it is just really sad. It talks about how back in 2018, it wasn't even that long ago, 2016 or 2018, he was making $500,000 a year plus on YouTube. That he had $800,000 in crypto at some point. All of it is gone. There's a point in this video where they talk about finances and how he just spent it all. He spent everything he had and he's got nothing left. And this is I want to use this more to like kind of talk about, talk about YouTubers in general. I worry about this stuff. There's a point in the video where he shows his money, right? YouTube and social media has given people like me or others. It's different for me because I had a career before YouTube, and I knew how to be good with money. I wasn't very good with money in my early 20s. I was terrible. I think I signed up for every free t-shirt on the planet, and I had a credit score that was, I think, in the low 500s. I couldn't even buy a house. Now I'm an old man, and it's close to 900. But that's years and years of work it took to fix that. I see this so often with YouTubers, and people who get rich or they make a bunch of money, for example, okay, and they have no idea how to handle it, so they just spend it. He shows his bank account again. He's got $1,000 in a CD. That's it. And he's got $160,000 remaining on his mortgage for his house. I mean, the year he made $500,000, he should have paid off his house. This is one thing that I hope that I want to try to make some good out of this, right? I want to try to make some good. You see, people have to be good with their money. And when you work your tail off, like a lot of my viewers do, you grind, you naturally get good with it because you don't have tons of extra money. When YouTube became a good thing for me, I was already used to floating checks and going to Walmart at 11:59 and writing a check for $40 over so I could buy groceries even though I didn't have money in my bank account until the next day. All the, so when I started to earn money, I didn't go crazy. In fact, much to my accountant's chagrin, I generally pay for things in cash. If I want a new fancy car, I don't take out a loan on it. I pay it off. Now, the better financial decision for most people is to, you let your money work for you if you have a good interest rate, this, that, and the other thing. But when you're a YouTuber and it could all go away tomorrow, and I have to go, at some point in my life, I'm going to have to work a regular job, and I'm happy to do that. And it doesn't bother me because I worked a regular job my whole life. A lot of YouTubers, they never did. They never had any idea what it was like to have money. I see this all the time where people would get their YouTube checks and then they would piss it all away and then wonder at the end of the year, suddenly they got a huge tax bill, $50, $70, $80, $100,000 in taxes that they didn't save because YouTube doesn't take your taxes out, right? You have to do that. You learn when you're a YouTuber, you have to also be a business person. Or if you can't do it, you need to pay somebody to do it. He shares, this is a guy that's been on YouTube for almost 20 years or something like that. He has no cash. He's completely broke. He's got $100,000 in equity in home, which is not really cash. $2,700 in his bank account. He's got $30K in crypto, allegedly. And he's got $30,000 in crap that he bought, collectibles. He owes $165,000 on his house, and he has $700 in credit card debt. So at least he's not buried in credit card debt. But he essentially has a net value of $0 in net worth. This is, and again, this isn't a dunk on Boogie, okay? It really isn't. I just want to take the three main points here that I saw and use it to help educate people on, this is why, what is the percentage? Like 60, 70% of people that win the lottery go bankrupt. Why do you think that is? Most people have no idea how to manage money when they get it. And if you weren't earning it and you suddenly have this huge financial windfall, what do people do? What did that moron do who won like $1 billion? He's bought in like hundreds of millions of dollars in stupid houses in LA. I mean, you see this every day. And the same thing is true for YouTubers, Instagrammers, streamers. You look at a guy like Asmongold. I'm not calling him out. I'm saying this guy very clearly, unless he's a mastermind, lives well below his means. If you don't know who Asmongold is, he's probably making millions a year streaming, and you don't see him driving around in a Ferrari. You don't see him buying a giant mansion. You don't see him wearing designer clothes. That guy, when he wants to hang it up, he's never going to have to work again. When I started on YouTube, I worked full time, both until I basically couldn't. I didn't want to quit my job, but because it just became stupid not to at some point. But then they talk about this, which is, fellas, this is another thing. Boogie admits in this video to spending $200,000 on escorts. My guess is it's more than that. Very few people are very honest about that kind of stuff. It's like you talk to somebody who goes to the casino and they're like, oh, I lost $20. Yeah, right. Okay, sure. Losses are always understated and winnings are generally overstated, right? $200,000 to feel loved. I feel extremely sad, that he did that. But I mean, that's a lot of cash. And he ends up in a moment that really hit hard for me, where he's selling his Magic cards, which is a game that I've played my whole life, Magic the Gathering, just to pay his mortgage. Again, this is a guy that just a few years ago made $500K on YouTube. If he had just that one-time lump sum of $250,000 after taxes. So if you make $500K, you're paying 50% income tax. Okay, you have to be making many, many millions before you get these quote-unquote tax breaks that every Democrat thinks every business owner gets. The write-off. It's shocking how many people have no clue what a write-off is. Anyway, he ends up. I mean, I feel so bad for him, but the fact of the matter is, Boogie has had 1,000 opportunities to fix this. he has, the entire internet community is simply just begging and waiting for him to have his redemption arc, and he just flat out refuses. He doesn't want to, he talks about his, I don't care to talk about his health problems. Okay. I'm a fat guy too. I'm not talking about other fat guys not being healthy. That'd be hypocritical. The documentary also spends a good amount of time talking about his personal relationship with a girl who is much younger than him. Don't care. She's an adult. He's an adult. I don't know what kind of weird issues that brought those two together, but who cares? She's of age. That's all I have to say about it. And anybody else focusing on it, he's getting a lot of hate from people who also seem to have, fresh out of high school girlfriends. I just, it's weird. Now, one thing I will say about Boogie, and I'll be harsh about him in this way, he is a liar. He has lied a lot. If these numbers are true, right? If these numbers are real, that he, lost everything, it's a stunning admission. It was probably the saddest. Most documentaries have some silver lining at the end, but this thing was literally just depressing. It made me want to drink aggressively. And it was just so sad. I hope that, anybody out there, any YouTubers or any, content creators, or really anybody out there in the world who, might come into some money or something like that. The one thing I can say about Boogie, and I think he would agree with this, is that use him as an example of what not to do. He talked about his boxing match. He got paid 10 grand for it, and spent all that money training and traveling. That's why, that was the ultimate thing about, remember, I had that fight, and then until that guy backed out, I was going to do it. But the money is irrelevant because it cost him more than $10,000 just to get ready, just to go to it. So he's gonna have to get a job, I think, at this point, and that's okay. It shouldn't be viewed as something negative. There's absolutely nothing wrong. People change jobs all the time. It's like, okay, you were a YouTuber for a little while, now you're not a YouTuber. That's just the reality of it. And I'll meet that fate one day too, but I will always remember this documentary about, make sure you put money in the bank. It's, so many YouTubers end up blowing it all because they think it'll never end. They think the money will never stop. And it was just absolutely brutal to watch. If you want to put yourself through it, watch Mike's version, because there's a lot of videos out there that just hate him and hate on him and whatever. And I get it. It's easy to do. But you see a lot of no sympathy, just anger. He's a mockery of people who are actually suffering. The problems he has are all caused by him. Yeah, that's true. You can still have sympathy. You say it's 100% crazy to me that he had $750,000 saved up at one point and chose to do everything except pay his house off. That's what I'm saying. That's what he did, everything, including hiring e-girls, and he did everything other than just pay off your house. Just pay off your house. Set up a trust so you have property taxes. Then you don't have to worry about a mortgage. And the fact that, he lives in a very modest home. It's not like he's in a mansion, and he can't even afford it. Yes, he has a victim complex. Yes, he's a liar. Yes, he's not a good person. But there can be a lot of good that can be garnered from understanding his story. And that's what I got out of the video. Really good job, Mike. If you watch the documentary, make sure you subscribe to him and that you let him know that I sent you. I don't know him, but I appreciate